This album is very much about control. It's called Control. You make the statement at the beginning. Why this emphasis on control?
Because I've experienced a lot in the past 2.5 years, and I'm taking more control of my life now as well as my career, and just getting more involved.
How are you taking more control of your life?
Well, before, there would be someone making the decisions for me, never me, and this time I'm making my own decisions.
Janet Jackson's Control is the ultimate example of artistic reinvention. After releasing 2 earlier albums that didn't fully reflect her vision, Janet knew her third project had to be her bold declaration of independence. So today we're going to be diving into Control and explore why it stands as a brilliant reinvention of Janet Jackson as an artist. Before Control, Janet Jackson's career was largely directed by her father and manager Joseph Jackson, who oversaw production on her first 2 albums and intended to do the same for her third. But Janet was ready to take charge of her destiny. Determined to find her own voice, she made a bold decision, and that was to fire her father as manager. With this newfound freedom, Janet embarked on creating her third studio album, amply titled Control. The name itself was a bold statement, a declaration that this album would be entirely hers. No longer bound by decisions imposed by others, Janet was ready to define herself on her own terms. Production for Control began in the summer of 1985 and wrapped up by that fall, marking the start of a groundbreaking chapter in her career. The album kicks off with the title track Control, and from the very first lines, Janet makes it clear she's in charge now. The open monologue sets the tone.
This is a story about control. My control. Control of what I say, control of what I do. And this time I'm gonna do it my way. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. Are we ready? I am. 'Cause it's all about control. And I've got lots of it.
The intro transitions into a funk-fueled instrumental that feels celebratory and triumphant. Janet exudes confidence, reveling in her newfound freedom and independence. The song radiates joy as she proclaims her love for being in control, and you can't help but root for her. It's a dynamic way to start the album, leaving listeners with an uplifting first impression and setting the stage for what's to come. Nasty follows as the second track on the album, and while it's not my personal favorite, I can still appreciate its impact. The instrumental is edgy and distinctive, with a sharpness that complements Janet's bold delivery. The second half of the song in particular stands out to me. It's where the energy really hits its stride. Though I don't have much to say about this track, it undeniably plays a key role in showcasing Janet's fearless attitude and further establishing her authority on the album. That brings us into What Have You Done For Me Lately, which is an absolute groove, and one of the standout tracks on the album. Janet's vocals truly shine here, delivering a perfect balance of sass and confidence. The writing is sharp and clever, with the chorus, or rather the refrain, being especially brilliant. As Janet repeatedly asks, "What have you done for me lately?" It's clear she's calling out to someone who hasn't been meeting her standards, making her message unapologetically clear. This track is undeniably fun, embodying the playful yet empowered tone that defines much of the album. It's one of those songs I find myself returning to often. It never fails to make an impression. One track that stands out above all for me is The Pleasure Principle, which is by far my favorite song on the album. In fact, this was my introduction to Janet Jackson, and it has remained my favorite ever since. The songwriting here feels deeply personal, with Janet expressing her desire to leave a loveless relationship built on shallow and materialistic foundations. Janet's vocals are softer and more restrained compared to the bolder delivery on earlier tracks, but this subtlety only enhances the song's emotional weight. Meanwhile, the instrumental is an infectious blend of loud, funky rhythms that are impossible to ignore. It'll have you dancing or at least tapping your foot. The instrumental breakdown midway through the track is a cherry on top, only elevating this track to another level completely. Honestly, words don't do this song justice, but I do recommend giving this entire album a listen. If nothing else, The Pleasure Principle is an absolute must here. And the same could be said for the next track on the album, He Doesn't Know I'm Alive, which features the most extravagant vocals from Jackson on this record. Her vocals here are grand and almost chilling.
He doesn't even know that I'm alive. No, he doesn't even know that I'm alive. I got his number.
Like many albums, Control features a signature ballad, and for Janet, that's Let's Wait a While. This track sees Janet slowing things down to deliver a heartfelt message about patience and the importance of taking things slow in a relationship. The lyrics are tender and thoughtful, making it one of the strongest moments of songwriting on the album. Janet's smooth vocals perfectly complement the chill, understated instrumental, creating a warm and reflective atmosphere. It's a beautifully composed song that stands out for its emotional depth and simplicity, offering a shorter contrast to the album's high-energy tracks. And finally, the closing track, How Time Flies When You're Having Fun, is one hell of an album closer. This track, like the previous, is chill, quieter, and smoother, and fades with Janet moaning with enjoyment, cementing her full control, I suppose. Of course, I can't end this video without talking about the visuals of the album. Janet Jackson's Control era perfectly complements its themes of independence, confidence, and reinvention. The album cover itself is a bold statement. Janet stands poised and powerful, dressed in a striking black outfit with her signature high ponytail, cascading dramatically. The stark contrast of the dark clothing against the light background highlights her commanding presence, while her direct gaze exudes confidence and self-assurance. It's minimal yet impactful, just like the album's message. The accompanying music videos were equally as iconic, helping define Janet's image as a trendsetter. The video for Nasty showcased her fierce energy and sharp choreography, with Janet commanding the screen in edgy, oversized fashion that became a staple of the era. What Have You Done For Me Lately features the playful yet assertive storytelling, with Janet delivering slick dance moves in a casual diner setting, reflecting the relatable tone of the song. Meanwhile, The Pleasure Principle stands out for its simplicity. Shot in a warehouse, it focuses solely on Janet's impeccable dancing, proving that she didn't need flashy effects to capture an audience. These visuals not only elevated the songs on the album, but also cemented Janet as a style icon and a leader in combining music with dynamic cinematic storytelling. They remain a crucial part of Control's legacy, showcasing a young woman confidently stepping into her power and redefining her artistry. Overall, Control by Janet Jackson is the perfect example of a beautiful reinvention. Jackson took her past experiences and decided to forge her own future. No longer playing the role of anyone's puppet, Janet used this album as her liberation piece, which is evident in the album's upbeat tone. Front to back, this album is a clear representation of freedom. Though, I hand it off to you. What are your thoughts on Control by Janet Jackson? Do you like the album? What are your favorite songs on the album? Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Bye.